Hello, my name is Scott Nelson, founder of Thrivable Strategies. Social distancing to you from the lovely downtown Newburyport Boardwalk. So obviously everyone knows the past couple months a lot of things have changed. Our family has always been a little bit strict on screen time for our kids. But in this era now, homeschooling, a lot of the things, the lessons that we have to teach the kids on a daily basis are on the iPad. Fortunately, they still think when we pull out the iPad, they're playing video games and they look forward to their lessons. And we want to keep it that way. Now, on the flip side, by the time dinner time rolls around, my wife and I are fried. A day of trying to balance work, homeschooling, relationships being cooped up, weather hasn't been the best until very recently. So by dinner time, we're looking for a way to sometimes make it a little bit easier. That's when we stumbled upon this podcast called Circle Round, put up by PBS. It's great because during dinner time, the kids have been trained enough that if you start turning the volume down a little bit, they realize that they're talking too loud and they have to be quiet to be able to hear the story. And if they're not taking bites of their food, you can pause it and they know in order to get it to restarted, they have to eat a little bit of their food. You know, just little parent hacks that we do. And about halfway through dinner, the story is over. And it prompts a discussion about what lessons we learned. So last night's story was called Three Wishes. And don't worry, I won't spoil it for you. It is a kid's story, so obviously it's got some lessons. And the discussion that we had afterwards was, what would your wish be? So Finn, who's 6, pointed out that I wasted my wish and I need to listen to the story again. So my wish was, I wish I could go back to February 20th, right before our ski trip, and not reschedule that haircut. Obviously, there are more greater concerns right now than looking like the caveman in quarantine, but it feels like an injustice that we won't be able to be presentable for the months, years, weeks, however long this is going to go ahead of us. So upon returning from our ski trip, my first day back at work was the first big stock market decline due to COVID-19. I rescheduled my haircut again. I had to put in a little bit of extra time to work with some clients, talk on the phone, write a few emails, and the rest is history. And fast forward to today, that's why I look like this. In this uniquely repetitive era for all of us, this Saturday will mark the first for my wife Jen and I. Scheduled to ride today are a sharp pair of scissors and clippers. Now, after being locked up in a house with the kids, and especially me for the past 2 months, it might not be the best time to be asking my wife to cut my hair. I do admit being moderately nervous, but only moderately. After all, she wasn't taking the blade to any vital organ. In addition, my alternative, which was letting my hair grow until I resembled Doc from Back to the Future. Finally, a haircut isn't forever. In due course, no matter how much damage she may inadvertently cause and inflict on my hair, it will grow back. So the act of cutting your hair is typically driven out of your mind in childhood. But desperate times do call for desperate measures. Eventually, everyone will have to succumb to the dark art of self-grooming. Similar constellations appeared to be supporting the stock market the past month. At its worst, on March 23rd, the S&P 500 was down 30%. Similar constellations seem to be supporting the stock market as well. From the February 19th peak to the March 23rd low, the S&P 500 was down 34% at its worst. Now fast forward to May 1st, it was down just 13% from its peak. Of course, 13% is still a big loss, but given the global economy has essentially ground to a halt due to COVID-19, it may seem surprising that it's not down more. There are, however, some logical reasons for the stock market not to overreact. First, while sectors most impacted by the virus are a huge part of the U.S. economy, they, however, are less vital than the stock market. Second, with Treasury yields at historically low levels and corporate bonds threatened by a recession, there are few appealing alternatives to stocks. Finally, a recession like a haircut is not forever. Even in a worst-case scenario in which economic rebound has to await the distribution of a safe, effective vaccine, 2021 should be the first year of a strong recovery in both economic growth and corporate earnings. The social distancing recession should have less of an impact on stocks and the economy. If COVID-19 will wipe out the entirety of the earnings of the S&P 500 in 2020 and 21, but leave the earnings beyond that untouched, it would justify a little less than a 12% decline in the value of the index. Back in the real world, we know under most COVID-19 scenarios, 2020 is the year of the virus, and 2021 is going to be the year of the recovery. There are, of course, still plenty of risks. I mean, over the next few weeks, different areas are attempting to reopen parts of their economy. If we have a sharp reacceleration in COVID-19 cases, it could lead to future shutdowns and obviously impact the stock market. On the flip side, some of these medical breakthroughs that are starting to make headlines. What if the vaccine or the cure or the treatment come faster than had anticipated? We've already injected trillions of dollars into our economy. This fiscal stimulus could actually cause some inflation, some higher interest rates, which could negatively impact the stock market, help the economy, but hurt the stock market. And third, political change could eventually lead to higher corporate taxes. We'll worry about that in the fall. These and other risks remain. However, in a world full of uncertainty, investors should take some comfort that the behavior of the stock market in recent weeks seems a relatively logical response to the problem. The problem has become apparent is far greater for your health, your way of living, and the economy than it is for your stock market portfolio. So, with that in mind, I'm telling everybody, be safe with your health, be safe with your finances, and please let me know if there's anything I can do to assist you. Wish you the best.